This is the last resort, the last level. If this level breaks, is GG sub 80,000 Bitcoin in the coming weeks. Now, I've been talking about this for a long time, and I've been hitting the drums, saying that we are going lower, we are going lower. Even yesterday on the show here, I was titled Bitcoin is going much lower. The daily update before that, urgent, Bitcoin update, local top is in. But everything is reflecting now. The chart is always telling you the story before. You see the dollar index tumbling on all these tariff situations that is happening. The US stock market is taking a massive, massive beating. Crypto is completely screwed. Bitcoin is free falling. The total market cap is down from January 14th, down about 8%. And this is basically the biggest reason for it. Trump posted this on Truth Social, and I was like, I did not believe this, to be honest. And I went to Truth Social, and he actually did post it on Truth Social 3 hours ago. He did make this post. Greenland US territory established in 2026. Pretty freaking insane. Now, there is, to spice this whole thing up, there's probably a court ruling happening today about his tariffs, which could mix the whole thing up because Trump is sanctioning or trying to sanction countries that do not support his Greenland acquisition. And I said that when the first time on January 9th, there was a talk about this whole Supreme Court thing, I said the local bottom might be in, but I do not think that. I think it just adds one more problem to the mix. Let's talk about the charts. Before I do that, if you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗏𝗏. I've been here since 2016. I do these 5 to 10 minute updates. Incredible track record. The reason why we're called the 100x Club, because if you make 4% a month, every single month, you 100x your wealth in the next 10 years. And that's the journey I'm on. If you want to join that journey, subscribe to the channel, smash the like and turn the bell notifications on. Let's get going. Very important. Yesterday, I've been telling you that I believe there has to be some kind of retrace before the continuation. And I still think that could be the case, but there is no break here. I am short. I posted in the community as well. So I have opened this short on Bitfunded at, what is my general entry? About 96,700, so about up here. And I'm writing this short down sub 80,000 because that's genuinely what I think is coming. Now, a couple of things. You always have to start from the higher time frame. Higher time frame. I posted today before the show, and I said, pray that we don't close below 3.02 trillion. Why? Very simple. Because on the daily chart, this is a very, very, very important level. Remember, on October 17th, I told you the bull market is over. The reason why that happened is because there was a market structure break, a close above the daily high, and an immediate retrace, close above the daily low. And this is exactly what you see here. Close above the previous daily high, and potentially a close below the previous daily low. That is a recipe for another 15-20% dump here. We are looking at least 2.6 trillion on the total market cap. Guys, it's not looking good. It's not looking easy. What I'm monitoring, how I'm playing this whole thing. Well, if I look at this and I go 4-hour chart, so on the daily chart, this level is super important. So straight out, I can tell you that if I trade the chart, which I do, I need to expect a reversal here, right? So if I forget everything and I say, let's play the chart, close all the noise out, this is a great long opportunity. But I can't close everything out and can't close out the fact that these candles erased $150 billion in 2 hours of the crypto market cap. And the overall structure is completely bearish. As I've been telling you, been waiting for this 50% retrace, which happened. And now if we make a lower low here, it's GG, game over. Let's go down into the hourly chart. What am I actually playing here? So I'm keeping my shorts open because I do believe that the shorts will need to print until I see a lower time frame confirmation for a reversal. That would be a higher high on here, but I need to see this on the 15-minute first, and then possibly on the hourly. The 15-minute chart is all of it, by the way, is the same level. It's the same level, no 3 consecutive candles. I need to see, this is screwed, fucked, it's completely done. But I would need to see a close above this level at 3.12 to even consider closing the short position and taking the long position, which already is coming up to this massive, massive order block. So this will be a complete shit show. And you might be wondering, what is this guy talking about? So let me get down here. On the daily chart, looks great. Should be a buy. I don't think it is. Seems like it is closing above and gonna close below. That means that we have another 17% dump. What am I seeing and where would I consider closing my short positions if the market is changing? The market, and I told you so many times that this is built up liquidity. If you look through the channels, like I literally been saying this for the past 2 weeks while everybody was telling that the bottom is in. I've been screaming and telling you that liquidity is building up and the chart is telling us a story. But anyway, so I do think that we need to close below here. What the major thing I'm looking for is something like this. Possibly today, or is just nuked down. Remember, the US market has not been opened yesterday. This is going to be the first US open since Friday. It's going to be a very, very nasty one in my opinion. Would not be surprised if I would see something like this again. Possibly a retrace to trap people and believe that the bottom is in, and then another flush. This is what I would expect. But also have to consider the possibility of this actually reversing. Like if this would happen or something like this happens, I do think it makes a lot of sense to scalp along this all the way up here, because if you see on the higher time frame, this could potentially create a new high. Very unlikely in my opinion. The most likely scenario is that we are going to reject and not go lower, but you should be prepared for this as well. Ultimately, TLDR, this is the last result, the last level, 3.02 trillion before a massive, massive dump, before all this liquidity. Same scenario here, as I said, same exact scenario down here. I would not be surprised for another 5 to 10% drop immediately, even possibly today or throughout the week. And I do believe that the market is going lower. If the market closes below the 3.02 trillion mark here on the total market cap, I think the next leg is this liquidity down here. Drone liquidity is going to be 2.74, possibly about 80,000 Bitcoin. Let me look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the exact same scenario. You have a close above here, then you're expecting a close below 89,500, and then if that happens, that's literally just a 10% dump on there to get to 80, and then on a higher time frame on the weekly level, I do think the next drawn liquidity is 75,000. So I would not be surprised to see this happen throughout the next weeks, depending on how the whole Greenland situation escalates or de-escalates, but this would be my game plan. Guys, this is basically it. I do have my my short open, as I told you. I do have my power long open. I told you it was a birdie call. I do think that this still has a possibility of going up. Conditions are pretty bad, but I think this has a potential to start pushing here towards the 0.2-ish region. We will see how that plays out. The bots, I do have them open. I told you they are in a high time frame setup, so that means that even if some of them goes into drawdown, look at the, for example, LIT, the decentralized exchange, even though they are buying back millions of dollars worth of tokens, is down. My Arrow is down, the biggest DEX on base. Esther, again, the DEX backed by CZ. So all these are down, but I'm not in a rush with these. I told you that I'm leveraging these for 2026. If you want to get in these, I do think it's a great idea, especially if we start breaking down. And one thing I made in the community, if you're not in the community, join in. There's a link in the description. I share all my trades, everything literally that I do, I share it in there. And I actually asked you, who do you want to see on the channel next week? All I can say is, based on the vote, you get what you asked for, okay? So next week, Monday, is going to be a big day. Super excited for that. And also make sure that you are actually joining in. If there's any update happening, if the market is pulling a doozy here, I'm going to let you know. Until then, guys, truly appreciate you. Check out this video. It's going to be a trading video called AMD, Accumulation, Manipulation, Distribution, that could help you understand more what is actually happening now. And come back tomorrow. Join in the community. It makes sense not to do so. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.